guys, this is Gloria and I'm about to show you how I kind of played badly in this game that I played against Shoushi at the 10+15 time format. And I played as white and they played as black. So I started the match, by playing the king spawn, e4, and then I was hoping they'd play e5 and do the king's gambit, but they did the Sicilian defense. And I'm not really sure how to play against the Sicilian, so I just developed my pieces. I developed my light squared bishop to c4, and then this is called the Bowdler attack. It's a variation of the Sicilian defense. After this, they played the f6, and according to Stockfish, this is a blunder because I could have given them a check and they would block with their pawn and I take their c-pawn. So yeah, but I didn't do that line. Instead, I played knight to c3, which develops the knight, but it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't do that much at this position. And then they played their d pawn and attacking my light squared bishop and my center pawn, and I took with my bishop. I could have taken with my pawn, so when they do this, I could have en passant them like this. But I didn't. It's okay. And then I tried to clear up this diagonal so I can develop my dark squared bishop. And then they moved their a pawn to a6. I developed my knight to f3, which was a mistake. I should have developed my f pawn according to Stockfish. And then they moved their knight to e7, attacking my bishop, but I ignored it and developed my dark squared bishop. So knight takes bishop, pawn takes the knight, and then they moved their b pawn to b5. And this move was really bad, and I didn't know what I was thinking, but you know, the fork. The fork. I lose a piece here and I chose to save the knight instead, and they took my bishop. I took back their pawn, so I still have my d and e pawn in the end, but I lost my bishop. And then they developed their dark squared bishop, and then I moved my b pawn, and then they moved their b pawn forward as well, and then I moved my a pawn. They could have passant me, but they didn't. And then here we just closed the queen side, and then I tried to develop my queen so I could castle queen side or king side. I don't know. I'm just giving that sense of mystery to my opponent, and then they castle king side. So here goes. I pushed my g pawn, and at first I thought, oh, maybe this was a wrong move because I gave my pawn for free. But actually it was a good move because this freed up the g file when they took that with their bishop. And then to save my knight, I moved away, and they developed their knight at the e file, which I wasn't sure, and I didn't want their bishop there on the g file, so I pushed my f pawn to attack it, and then they moved back to the h file, and then I attacked the g file, with my rook, and then they pushed their f pawn, attacking my bishop on e4. And instead of moving away, taking that bishop, I just, gave them a threat, a mate threat, this one. But instead, to defend that, they moved their rook to the to f7, to the 7th rank, protecting that pawn. And they could have won my knight and gave me a check, and then I just move away or block it with my knight. But I just blocked that attack with my knight, so I could still save it. But that was called a blunder. And then they did another blunder according to Stockfish. I'm not sure why. But then, because I had that knight here, and they moved their rook here, I gave them a fork. And I really thought it was a good fork, but I forgot that this knight was hanging. So they took, and they gave me a check. And I don't have my fork anymore. So after that, I moved my king closer to my rook at the G file, and then they moved their rook here, and then I put my knight back to the G file. They moved their bishop there, attacking that pawn. So after that, I defended it with the rook. And then they moved their rook here at the F file. I moved my knight there back again, attacking this rook and this bishop. But yeah, they chose to save that rook. But I didn't take that bishop though. I can't remember why. So I just moved my queen here and attacking that pawn. And then they took that pawn at e file. And I was, why are they giving me a free bishop? Why did they sack that bishop? I'm not really sure why. So I thought, it's a free bishop. I like it. I like free things. And then I took their e pawn, and they gave me a check with their rook here at d1. So I blocked it with my rook, and the queen took it. So that was a wrong move for me in this game. And then they gave me another check, and here they could have forced checkmate me by doing this. Ta-da! So I block it, and then the queen takes it, and it's checkmate. So I was very lucky they didn't see that sequence. So after that, they checked me again. I went back to the h1 corner, and they took my rook. So I'm down 2 rooks. So I took back their rook because that was my instinct. And then they took my last knight. So I only have 4 pawns, a queen, and a king. And I absolutely thought that I'm gonna lose this game. But I didn't. I didn't lose this game. And this is how you know. And here, they could have given me checks, and they could have eventually given me a checkmate, And then they gave me a check here. I absolutely think they were trying to give me a mate, but I moved my king forward because I don't know. I also don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought that it would be easy to back rank them by my queen going here and my king protecting these squares, so they wouldn't go anywhere. So the king wouldn't go anywhere. And then I gave them a check because I didn't want them to keep on checking me and then in the end mating me. So here, I gave them another check. I moved here to g1 so I can do this. And then afterwards, they did this move. This move was wrong. Cause boom, it was checkmate. I was really lucky I saw that. And they did that. And I punished that blunder real bad. And I was just lucky. So I guess that's it. There were a lot of checkmates that they could have done to me, but instead this is what I got in the end. Now, this was just me being lucky, truly lucky. And according to Shoushi, he was trying to mate me with a pawn. So I guess that's where my vlog ends. I was just really lucky. And if you can look at this computer analysis, I was winning at the opening, and then in the middle game, right here, when I moved this, that's where I kind of fell down from that winning position. And that fork, and I just thought I was just losing the whole time, as I was down material. But in the end, it's luck. And I'm very lucky I saw that blunder that made me win. So I guess that's all for today. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.